What's going on, everybody? Jayhow here, and in this Apex Legends video, we're going to talk about some tips you might not know. It seems like even though time continues to pass, there are some that tend to escape people. A lot of people know these, but for those that don't know, we're going to talk about some of the best tips that you might not know. First things first, let's talk about the care packages. Let's start with Lifeline's care package. For some people, they wonder, how do I know if it's that? It has a blue top. When it's the universal drop that is for everybody that you can see on your minimap, that's a red top. This is important to distinguish whether you're coming up on an area where an enemy has been or the universal drop is. If the universal drop is there, it also has a blue beam if it hasn't been looted. So if you're creeping up on an area, you wonder, is this the universal? Is this a Lifeline one? That's a distinguishing factor between the blue and the red tops. Now, here's one for Lifeline care packages in particular, because if you're a Lifeline main, you know everybody is after the loot on your air supply. Whether it's guns, gear, or that precious armor, everybody wants that. Now, what a lot of people don't know is there's actually a very distinguishable side on where those items are. For a very simple and easy diagram, it's a matter of what's directly in front of Lifeline and on the other sides. It's a triangle. There's 3 sides. Now, on the front side, those are your gun attachments. This can also be backpacks and knock shields on that front side. On the right side, that's where your body shields, your helms, your knocks, that's where all of those are. So if you are Lifeline and you put this down and you can remember which side you're facing, it's going to be dependent on whichever side you're facing when you initially drop it. So that one that's directly in front of you will have those items. The one on the right will have that body shield, helm, and knock. So if that's where you want that armor, that's going to be the best place you can pick it up. One fun fact that some people tend to not realize is you can actually climb higher while your weapons are holstered. Now, most of the time you can get to the places you need to go, or you can find a creative way to get there by hopping on a box, hopping over, and then climbing up. But there are certain areas that are really dependent on having your weapons holstered. You can do this in a lot of areas on the map, so there's not one in particular, but if you're wondering, can you climb this and you can't quite make it, simply holster your gun and try it out the next time. Also, you can find different ways to get up on most territories, but if you're in a hurry and you're trying to get on a rooftop or somewhere to safety, remember to holster. One of the coolest things that Respawn has done in Apex Legends is the sniper scopes. The sniper scopes will show you the meters away you are, and this is good to know because there are drop-offs. This is physics within the game where the bullet drops. Now, depending on how far away you're aiming, the number will be on the bottom side of the reticle. If you're 100 meters away, you're going to shoot for that 1 or the 100, depending on which reticle you're on. If it's 150, you'll shoot between that 1 and the 2. If you're 2 to 250, then you know you're that 2 to 250 meters away, and use that 2 or between that 3. There's different ways to make sure and do this to deal with the drop-off. Whether it's due to elevation or whatever, this is something that is brand new within gaming, or so Respawn claims. So if you're trying to figure out how to balance those headshots or trying to hit from long distance, simply look at your meters away and then look at the reticle and balance accordingly. One thing that plagues newer players is they'll see an item pinged by their ally, they go to get it, and then they can't find it. So then they're walking around trying to figure out where that item is. And, well, there's one simple way to take care of that, the ping system, which still remains one of the absolute best things in the game. You simply ping an item, or you ping the icon whenever your ally pings it, and you'll call dibs. When you call dibs, it will actually stay on your screen, so you know where to go, and you don't have to worry about, okay, I saw this here before, but now it's gone. This is something that has plagued a lot of newer players. They spend more time looting than they do fighting. And to be honest with you, the best way to get better at the game is by fighting, and this is one way to be more efficient with your time, get that going. However, if it does disappear, it means your teammate took it. A fun thing for when you're drafting your characters is that whenever you're in that mode, the third person will always be the jump master. However, if the person in the draft who is the jump master is AFK and it auto locks a character for them, it will actually pass on that jump master to another person who wasn't AFK in the draft. Now, Caustic isn't the most popular character, but we all should know by now that one way to deactivate these is to simply shoot the bottom. down on the bottom on the little ring, you shoot those, and it will actually just deflate. The entire thing goes away, and you don't have to worry about it. This is good if you're a caustic main because you can close out areas, and that gunfire can alert you, or if they walk into them the same way. There is something to be said, because if you miss the bottom, it will actually trigger that. So if you're using something with a spread shot, be careful. Triggering that means you have to wait it out. However, if you are in retreat and the enemy team is after you, you can actually shoot this so that the caustic's allies have trouble passing through that. They don't take damage from it, but they're affected by it the same way. Only caustics have no effect towards the poison, but there is strategic ways to get around it. Speaking of caustic traps, if you're a Mirage main, you can actually send out your decoy, and that will trigger the caustic trap. By doing this, because the way the trait works for Mirage is that when his decoy goes out, if something hits that decoy, you get the notification on how far away they are, and it semi-pings their location, thus giving you information. So if you send your Mirage decoy out, you'll actually be able to see where that caustic is. A few mobility things that might not have been covered in the previous one. If you're running for dear life, or you simply hate that incredible slow if you fall from a great distance, all you have to do is kick the ground right as you land, or right before you land. This will actually get rid of that slow stun that comes in. You do have to go through the kick animation, but it is faster than going through that stun and then starting to run again. So if you're looking for a good way to get out of danger, that's one way to do it. Also, there's 2 different ways to get off a zipline. 3 if you count just naturally going to the end. But did you know that if you hit the jump, you'll actually have a little bunny hop, a little jump off of it. But also, if you use the crouch, you'll fall off. You won't have that leap up or that jump up. There's different strategic elements to each. If you're afraid that you're being shot while you're going, it might be safer and smarter to drop down as quickly as you can. If you're trying to get on a roof or just juke people out, then jumping off might be there. Going all the way to the end is the natural way, but if you're looking to make plays, you can crouch down, use that to slide out, or jump off and try and make a play of your own. One thing that comes in handy from time to time is in the early game. Sometimes you don't have a gun, and you might be being chased. You don't want to turn around, because if you turn around, that means you're running backwards. And that means that you can now be hit if you had created distance between them. One thing you can do, and we've already seen this in the previous video that I had, is that you can use stuff while sliding. But did you know that you can actually slide backwards? If you're running and you just slide normally on an even surface, you can actually jump up, do a 180, and then crouch down and slide. You can turn back around without losing any real momentum, and that way you can check behind you without losing that speed that you so desperately need if you're trying to get to safety. This is a good way to keep an eye behind you, maybe make a play of your own, maybe use a grenade or something to turn and shoot, but it is a way to slide backwards. You can do this on hills, of course, but you can also do this on regular surface. If you're a Pathfinder main, you probably already know this exists, and you might have seen some clips on Reddit otherwise, but Pathfinder can actually grapple people to you. His tactical ability that he sticks onto buildings, Spider-Man style, and does his thing, can actually pull people to you. This can be good, or it can be bad. It's a matter of how you use it and how much fun you have, and we've even seen plays where people just use Pathfinder and pull them off of a bridge and pull them off of the side of the map, and, well, guess what? They're dead. So there are different ways to use Pathfinder. Be careful when you are going against that Pathfinder, because he might be looking to pull you as well. If you're a Wraith main and you wonder, did I just see somebody else in here? You already see images of other people. But for Wraith players, if you both go into the void, you know that you can't see anything else. You can't really do anything. But if both Wraiths use their void jump at the same time, then they'll be able to see each other within the void. That's the only way you can see somebody else in the void, is if there's another Wraith in there. A couple of fun things that you can do with teammates is you can actually stick an arc star to a teammate. If you're in the bunker and you know that they're weak and you don't want to throw the grenade in there, you can actually stick it to your teammate, have him go in there, be a martyr. It can get closer, do the damage, get the stun. Your teammate might be somewhat affected by it, but either way, it can be pretty fun. There's a lot of really cool tips out there, and they continue to come out. These seem to be more of the popular ones that a lot of people tend not to know when I'm in games with newer players, or even people that are up to level 30 or 40. I've played a ton, I've browsed a lot of Reddit, and I've seen a lot of this. It's is not new to a lot of people that are out there in socials, but for people that are just in the game and looking for different tips and tricks to get in Apex Legends, this is one way to do it. Special shout out to the patrons out there, continue with their support, giving me an opportunity to bring you guys these videos and tips in some of your favorite games. Feel free to leave a comment below if there's any tips that I might have missed or some that you want to add for a certain character. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button. That's always appreciated. If you want to sub for more future Apex Legends content, then be sure and do that as well. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time, happy hunting. See you again.